Hello students, welcome to today's lecture. Today we will discuss meat sausages. The main objectives of today's lecture are meat sausages and their origin, consumer acceptance of the sausages, classification of the sausages, meat sausage formulation and casing, storage and distribution of sausages. Let us start with the introduction. Meat sausages. The term sausage is derived from Latin word salsas, meaning salt, or literally translated refers to chopped or minced meat preserved by salting. Sausages are one of the oldest forms of processed foods, their origin being lost in antiquity. It has been reported that sausages were used by Babylonians and Chinese about 1500 BC, although documented proof is lacking. It is difficult to fit sausages into a single definition since they are many and varied. Attempts, however, have been made to define sausages either by shape, type, or meat content. Characteristically, sausages are comminuted processed meat products made from red meat, poultry, or combination of these with water, binders, and seasoning. They are usually stuffed and caged into casing, that is, intestines, stomach, esophagus of animals, and may be cured, smoked, or cooked. Sausages are popularly defined as cylindrical in shape with hemispherical ends. The FAO 1985 views sausages as one of the oldest forms of meat processing, in which meats go through various modification processes to acquire desirable organoleptic and keeping properties. Dear students, let us know about the consumer acceptance of sausages. There are hundreds of different sausage products available to the customers today. As the distribution system improved and people from different geographical regions intermixed as a result of more traveling, there was an interchange and popularization of certain sausage products until some of them became almost universally acceptable. Thus, frankfurters, bologna, pepperoni, and many other sausages are available throughout the country. Nevertheless, even these universally popular products vary from place to place as a consequence of flavor and seasoning preferences. Consumers today eat sausages because of convenience, variety, economy, and nutritional value. Now we will talk about classification of sausages. Classification of sausages. For convenience, sausages can be classified as under degree of chopping. In this, first is coarsely ground, second emulsion or finely chopped. Next, degree of cooking. In this, first is uncooked and second is cooked. Third, level of smoking. In this, first unsmoked and second is smoked. Fourth one is amount of water added. In this, no water added and second is water added. Fifth is curing. In this, first is uncured and second is cured. Sixth is fermentation. In this, we categorize them as A, unfermented, and B, as fermented. And seventh is amount of moisture in the final product. Classification according to USDA Meat Inspection System. The system of classifying sausages is probably used more widely than any other, since all federally inspected sausages come under this classification scheme. The USDA system of classification of sausages are as under A, fresh sausages, B, uncooked smoked sausages, C, Cooked smoked sausages. D. Cooked sausages. A. Fermented sausages. Next, luncheon meat. First, we will talk on fresh sausage. Fresh sausages are usually made from fresh ground meat, that is corra beef, beef and pork, which are seasoned and stuffed into casing or left in bulk form. Their taste, texture, tenderness and color are directly related to the ratio of fat to lean. Fresh sausage is neither cured nor smoked, but must be kept under refrigeration and thoroughly cooked before serving. Fresh pork sausages are usually made from fresh or frozen pork, but not including pork byproducts. The fat content of the finished product should not be more than 50%. In case of fresh beef sausage, the finished product should not contain more than 30% fat. Examples are fresh pork sausage, fresh beef sausage, breakfast sausage. Next, we will talk uncooked smoked sausage. These are almost similar to fresh sausages except that they are smoked to give the product a characteristic flavor and color. These must be fully cooked before eating. Examples are kielbasa and mettwurst. Next is cooked smoked sausage. These are made from meats which are ground, seasoned, stuffed into casing, smoked and cooked. These can be eaten cold or reheated. Examples are Berliner, Cotto salami, etc. Third, we will talk on cooked sausages. These are comminuted semi-solid sausages often prepared from one or more kinds of raw skeletal meat and or poultry. They shall not contain more than 35% fat and no more than 10% added water. They may be either smoked or unsmoked. Cooked sausages are often served cold. Examples are bologna, frankfurters, liverwurst, knockwurst and similar products. Products made from all meat or all meat from single species may be so labeled, that is, all meat and all beef respectively. Next is fermented sausages. Fermentation, which is one of the oldest methods of meat preservation, is used in making fermented sausages. Fermented sausages are characterized by their relatively long shelf life, a distinctive tangy flavor, which is brought about by production of lactic acid in the fermentation process. Traditionally, fermented sausages are made using lactic acid bacteria naturally present in the meat or with the inoculation of new batch from outside. The introduction of microflora occurs at the chopping point and the mix is filled into casing and left to ferment and then dried. The development of the pathogenic bacteria is inhibited by the acid produced by the fermentation. The low pH and the dry nature of the product are primarily responsible for their long keeping quality. Fermented sausage have relatively higher meat content and take a longer time to prepare owing to their series of required drying processes, which may take up to 7 weeks. Semi-dry sausages are smoked, cooked and finished off as dried. Fermented sausages are classified into semi-dry and dry sausages. First, we will talk on semi-dry sausages. These are fully cooked in the smokehouse to aid in the drying process. They usually contain more residual moisture than dry sausages. Examples are summer sausage and Lebanon bologna. Next is dry sausage. These are lightly smoked and are dried, firmer and higher in price than semi-dry sausages. Examples are salamis, pepperoni, etc. Second is luncheon meat. This cured cooked product is made from comminuted meat and may contain mechanically deboned meat and added water and or ice up to 3% of total. Now we will talk on sausage casings. Sausage casings are usually made from parts of the alimentary canals of various animals. These natural casings are largely made up of collagen, which have the unique characteristics of variable permeability. Natural casings readily permit smoke penetration and do not contribute any undesirable flavors. Sausages made from natural casings have a snap when bitten into, which is considered desirable sensory characteristics. Natural casings are usually obtained from particular ruminants like cattle, buffalo, sheep and goat. Almost the entire ruminant or beef gastrointestinal tract can be used, and casings are obtained from esophagus, small intestines, that is round and runners, cecum and large intestines. Pig casings are derived from stomach, small intestines, large intestines. Bladders are used from minced luncheon meats. Small hog casings, that is from small intestines, are probably the most widely used. Commercial sausage makers often use sieved casings, which are obtained from two natural casings that are slit, matched up and stitched together. The alternatives to natural casings are synthetic casings made from edible or inedible materials. The three most common types of synthetic casings are collagen, cellulose and artificial casings. Next, we will like to know about the sausage formulation. The manufacture of sausage requires an assemblage of different ingredients in the right proportion to produce not only the desirable quality and safe product, but also a cost effective. In order to achieve this, all the necessary ingredients had to be quantified properly to enable costing and establish the basis for the consistency of the product. The proportion of various ingredients vary according to type of product, species of meat used and location where the product is being manufactured. However, for convenience, the important constituents of sausage comprises of meat, fat, salt, sugar, antioxidants, preservatives, flavor enhancers, spices and herb extracts, non-meat binders and casing, that is natural and artificial. Brief description of important ingredients or additives in sausage manufacturing. Besides meat and casing, a large number of other important ingredients or additives can be combined together in varying proportions as required to form seasoning mixture. Such ingredients include salt, herbs, sugar, spices, preservatives, onion, leek pieces, flavorings, either natural and artificial, and non-meat binders. The description of these important ingredients is as under. First, we will talk about salt. Salt is the only non-meat substance that is always considered. It is mainly used to enhance flavor, for water absorption, protein solubilization, and also as a preservative. Salt is usually added as sodium chloride at the rate of 1 to 2%, either directly or as a part of seasoning mixture. Second is sugar. Sugar is sometimes used either for flavor or to counter slight bitter taste of salt. Sugar undergoes microbial fermentation process that causes a reduction of pH of dry and semi-dry sausages. For example, pepperoni. The lactic acid produced by fermentation of sugar, usually dextrose, reduces the pH and gives these sausages their characteristic tangy flavor. Third is spice and herb extract. A wide range of spices and herb extracts are used in sausage manufacturing to enhance flavor. These include rosemary, coriander, paprika, nutmeg, leek, cranberry, etc. Next is antioxidants. Antioxidants increase the shelf life of the product by preventing fat rancidity and color change. Ascorbic acid is among the most used antioxidant agent in sausage production. Next, we will discuss preservatives. Preservatives in small quantity are used to increase the shelf life of the product as they prevent the growth of microorganisms which causes spoilage and food poisoning. The most commonly used preservatives are sodium sulfate and sodium metabisulfate. Next is flavor enhancer. Flavor enhancers reinforce the flavor inherent in the product by its effect on taste buds. In spite of having desired effects on flavor, the usage of the flavor enhancers is decreasing because of consumers' concerns. Monosodium glutamate is the only most used flavor enhancer in sausage manufacturing. Next is emulsifiers, stabilizers. Emulsifiers help in stabilization of the emulsion by enhancing the intimate holding of oil, fat and water as a mixture. The most commonly used stabilizer in the sausage making include diphosphates and triphosphates. Next is non-meat binders. Recipes which are high in fat and low in lean meat content require certain quantities of non-meat binders for exudate formation. These non-meat binders include milk powder, soy protein isolates, egg white, starch and whey powders. To inculcate in the students about the processing of sausage, we would like to discuss processing step in sausage manufacturing. Sausage processing is a continuous sequence of different events or steps in which each step is an integral part of the whole process. Each process has to be taken care of equally without assigning any special importance to a particular step for the successful operation. The operational procedure begins with the grinding of meat ingredients and proceeds through packing. The sequence of events is as under. First is grinding. Meat chunks of variable size and shape are ground to form uniform cylinders of meat and fat. The screw feed in the barrel of the grinder conveys meat and presses it into the holes of grinder pallet. The size of the hole in the grinder pallet determines the diameter of meat cylinders and thickness of pallets, and the number of blades determines the length of the cylindrical particles. Next is mixing. Proper mixing is very important to obtain a uniform blend. Cylinders of lean and fat obtained after grinding are put in mixer for uniform distribution of lean and fat particles. Mixing helps in extraction of salt-soluble proteins which coat the fat particles. This can be used for coarse ground sausage or emulsion type sausage by utilizing emulsifier or chopper and with addition of required ingredients to obtain desired texture and uniformity of the composition. Next is the chopping. Chopping is done in a bowl chopper which is composed of revolving metal bowl and rotating knife blades which cut through the revolving meat mass. From chopper, meat is transferred to emulsifier for acquiring desired texture. Next is emulsifying. It is done in an emulsifier which combines the principle of grinding and chopping. Emulsifiers give desired texture to meat mass. Due to high velocity of blades, there is some temperature rise in the product, which in certain cases is helpful if the meat has been frozen or hydroflacked. However, excessive heat transfer to the product has to be prevented and no more than 10% heat transfer should occur. This is particularly useful in making emulsion type sausages from mechanically deboned poultry meat. The greatest advantage of using emulsifiers is that there occurs proper disintegration of the meat tissue and desired texture is obtained. Next is stuffing or filling. After grinding and chopping the sausage emulsion or sausage mixture or sausage dough is filled into natural or artificial casing. The filling is done either manually or through vacuum fillers. The most important objective of sausage filling through vacuum fillers is to achieve portioning accuracy and evacuation of air pockets from the product. The mixture from the filler hooper is fed through the nozzle by a piston pump. Evacuation of air from the product enhances the color stability and the usual effect of sausages. It also reduces fat oxidation, bacterial action and prevents proteolysis. A longer shelf life is therefore achieved by vacuum filling. Sausages can be filled as soft, less compact and compact in consistency depending on producer's requirement. Achievement of good product dimensions and speed are among the critical requirements in choosing vacuum filler. It is during this stage that the shape and size of the final product is determined. Next, we will talk on linking and tying. After stuffing, the encased mass is tied with the thread or fastened with metal clips. Next is cooking. Some producers use a cooking line to form the needed demarcation. Various cooking methods and programs are now used in sausage cooking. Whichever method is used should have a common characteristic and capability of achieving ambient and product core temperature requirement. Efficient cooking requires a standardized program based on cooking temperature, product size and residence time. It is important to note that microbial spoilage of cooked sausages, among other factors, depends on initial microbial load, level of preservative and the temperature of cooking and storage. Next is the smoking. Use of smoke, either natural or liquid, to achieve the desired flavor, color, antimicrobial, antioxidant and preservative effect is a common practice in sausage making. Natural smoke derived from wood is used to impart distinctive flavor to the sausage. Next is the packaging and labeling. Sausage packaging material, whether primary or secondary, should be good enough to offer an acceptable visual and structural presentation of the product to the customer. The important criterion is that packaging material is able to form a barrier against physical abuse, contamination and damage to the product. Further, packaging materials should be food grade and should not carry or transfer contaminants. A few producers have successfully used wax coated pre-printed cartons with sleeves between layers for frozen, cooked and uncooked sausages and frankfurters. Furthermore, labeling information on packaging material should be sufficient for effective traceability of the product. Ingredients declaration including percentage meat content, batch number, best before date, product name, plant EC number and address and product weight are the minimum details that should appear in the label. Next is the storage and distribution. Manufacturers want their product to reach the recipients at the right time without any temperature or physical abuse. For the purpose of traceability, many manufacturers specify a 24-hour temperature monitoring chart and tracking system as primary requirement in selecting primary transport and distribution of their product. This was all about today's lecture. Hope you understood it very well. Thank you.